What's up, everybody? Welcome back into Octagon Chronicles, episode 4. We've done it 4 weeks in a row, and this time we got probably the most experienced, the most badass guy we've had in here so far. His name's Jason Witt. His name's the Vanilla Gorilla, and he joined us in studio tonight, and he's got a fight in just 2 weeks, so we really appreciate it. Jason, my man, where are you from, dude? Because I don't think I've ever asked you that, and I'm curious. Where are you from?
First off, thanks for having me on. I appreciate you guys inviting me in here.
Thank you, Jay Witt.
I'm from up north. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I grew up kind of like close to Smithville type area.
Okay.
Met a girl. She grew up in Leawood. Moved down here for her.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri. Went to Oak Park High School. Graduated in 2005. I want to tell you how old I am.
So what's your? Do you still remember the Oak Park cheer?
Hell no.
Did they do the?
What the hell?
A-O-A-K-P-A-R-K?
That's a common theme with fighters I've seen,
That's a
though.
thing? I didn't know that. I had no idea. That shows you how much I actually paid attention in high school. It's not a real thing. No.
That's a common thing with fighters. I hear like they'll move like to where their girl lives, and then that's where they start training. I interviewed Gage Young last night, and he said to his girl, he said, I'm moving to Lee Summit in 5 months. You can come with me, or you're not. So,
dude, that kid's gotten so. I remember the day that kid walked into Glory. It was me, Grant Krause, or it was me, Grant Dawson, James Krause, and like we all just rolled with that kid and just pretty much mauled the kid.
Oh my god!
And made him like, it's either, hey, this is either where you need to be or you don't. Like that's the decision you got to make. And you guys seen that kid now? That kid is a phenomenal fighter.
He's a great.
Well, that's what you guys.
21.
You guys
Crazy.
were. Is that something you guys do in your gym quite a bit? Because I saw we were at practice the other day. I believe it was Wednesday last week, and you guys were ribbing a guy, I believe from England or London.
Oh,
the guy who has the
Daniel.
squat record.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Daniel.
It's like Ojan.
I can't pronounce his last name. Don't even ask me.
Okay, I was gonna say it, but you guys were kind of saying, "Hey, man, you have the talent," but you guys were kind of ribbing him on just being able to perform, and that's not a knock on you, obviously.
No, not at all. That's just kind of the culture of the gym. Like we Krause kind of expects everybody to like live up to their expectations. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't like that guy squats 765 pounds, which is
insane,
absolutely ridiculous.
That's insane,
right? But James Krause doesn't lift weights, can pick him up and throw him around. It's like there's something missing. Like you're not trying to compete in the room. Like, and that's something that I had to find in for myself in fighting was like I had to go in the room and learn to compete. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to win every single round, unless it's somebody smaller or something. But like I'm trying to win every single round
in practice,
and that's just the way it is. Like you got to come in that room and compete, and if you're not, we're gonna call you out. Like you're either being lazy or just not doing to your full potential. You know?
Yeah, and you go way back. I think. Do you go back further with Jason High or James Krause? Because I know you go back with both of them.
Yeah, so I've known both of them for I don't even know how long, at least 10 years. So me and Trey Ogden started in a gym in Kearney, Missouri.
Oh, you and Trey started a gym.
We started in a gym. Like we had a guy named Bill Brown. I started training there, and then Trey came along, and we trained. There was like 4 of us who really just trained together all day long, every day. And then it got to the point where like I wasn't getting what I needed, where I needed a bigger level. Like I wanted to go further, and we moved to Jason High's gym in LC Davis. It was, it was High Davis Gym, HD MMA. I started training there, so I trained with Jason High, who was my original kind of second main coach. So I've known Jason High for that was 2013, so going on 9-10 years. And then once I went from there, I moved over to James Krause, and
they combined forces almost.
Yeah, they do now. Yeah, they weren't at the time, and then I moved over to Krause, and then they just kind of combined together, and now we just own the world.
Do you take inspiration from Jason High being just an absolute unit at like 42 years old or however he is?
Bro, that dude is from the motherland. Like I don't care what you think.
He found the fountain of youth.
Yeah, that dude's genetics is absolutely ridiculous. He's one of the strongest people I've ever met, but he's like, I'm just trying to get to 200 pounds right now. I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, we didn't even need to. He's like, I've been trying to cut my weight my whole life. Like, I might as well just start putting on weight. Yeah, dude. He's the vast knowledge that dude has, but just the way, like, if I'm 35 years old and I hope to look that way, like, I hope to look as good as that dude does at like 40. Like, Jesus Christ.
He reminds me of somebody like Yoel Romero, who at 43 still looks like a freaking tank.
Yeah. I don't. Is Joel on roids? Do they have
I mean, I don't want to speculate.
I know High's on roids, but I mean, that's just dude. They just got good genetics. Like that's pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I don't have that. I'll be 45 years old and I'll be like 260 pounds. Just like fuck it.
That's a good question. have to build yourself? Obviously, everybody built themselves to where they're at, but were you always naturally strong and naturally big, or was this something that was hard work just to do that aspect of it as well as training?
No, man. So I came out of high school like a $135, like soaking wet.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah, I was a scrawny kid. Never lifted. I didn't lift weights. I think I lifted my senior year. I lifted weights. I started lifting in gym class.
Wow.
That was it. And then I started going to the gym. I was 19 years old, I think. And a couple buddy of mine, they were like, "Hey, man, we're getting gym memberships for Christmas." I'm like, "Hey, mom, give me a gym membership for Christmas." Right? We got a gym membership, and like 6 months later, I was still the only one in the gym. Like I fell in love with it.
They all quit. Or like fell off, I guess.
They fell off, but like a lot of my friends that are those guys, like Luke Josephine is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I train with him at Bill Brown's. Tony Powers is like a weightlifting power coach. So like they fell off the gym, but like they still got back on and they're still like successful people in their aspects. But like I just stayed in the gym and I just kept working. And like one of my favorite lifts is deadlifts, and it's something I was just really good at. But I like always turn my back. So like I just kept figuring out how to deadlift. And like I would deadlift like 4 days a week. I didn't know how to, I didn't know any training. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So I just tried to get stronger. I just stayed in the gym and started training. And I just kept lifting and got bigger and then it turned into a kind of just a habit.
And you turned into the gorilla. Yeah. Turned into the gorilla.
Yeah, pretty much. I went from like, I'm not joking, like 135 to like 177 within like 2 years, 2-3 years.
And now you own a fitness gym.
Yeah.
Fit House KC.
Yeah.
So that's like is that a dream come true for you?
And it's I got to kind of attribute that to my in-laws, who my in-laws are very successful, like multimillionaire type people, right? And like I didn't really have any light of where I wanted to go in my life. Like I had no path to what I wanted to do. I worked for an ice company. I hated doing that.
Just like delivering like to a
dude. I drove a truck
gas
around.
stations.
I drove a truck around. Yeah. Pulling 110 pallets out of stores.
Of course.
Just throwing bags of ice all day. That might help me get a little
I was
stronger
going to say, that's like throwing hay bales for country boys, you know?
Bro, I remember working 20-hour days in the middle of summer. Like 4th of July, 3rd of July, like you didn't make plans. You knew that week you're not doing shit.
Hey, at least it was ice.
Yeah.
It'll cool you down a little bit.
I still hate those jokes. I haven't worked there for like 5 years. And I still hate them.
Like,
you got a cool job. Like, hey, thanks, you 80-year-old man. Go fuck yourself.
I'm sure you heard that
so many times. But yeah, man, I don't know where I was going with that story, but yeah, I hated working for the ice company. And then I always thought like as a person, you had to be like a millionaire to like own a business. You had to have like millions of dollars and you had to be super successful. And it wasn't that way. And when I started becoming a personal trainer, I was like, you know what? Like I see people who don't have the drive and ambition that I have doing more than I'm doing. Right. And so like when I thought about that, I was like, oh, I could own a gym. I could do this. And I kind of just started working my way to just owning a fitness gym. And then like owning a gym's like, oh, I can do this after fighting too. Like I have a retirement plan in a sense. You know what I mean? And so
awesome.
that really kind of got me set up for why I wanted to own a gym.
Fit House KC, baby.
So now
we got to check it out, Blake.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't.
Right down the street.
So at your guys' gym now, is it strictly fitness? Do you guys don't do any training for fighting there? That's all Glory stuff, right?
Yeah. Glory is literally 5 minutes north or south of me. Like Glory is 105th and Metcalf, I'm 91st in Metcalf.
Okay.
And me and Trey opened the gym like a week from each other.
Did you guys know that you were doing that at the same time?
Yeah. Okay. We did. Yeah. What happened with me was I was working at a gym and COVID hit, right? I was a personal trainer. COVID hit. And the guy who we don't get along at all, like I'm not joking. You put Adolf Hitler and him in a room, I'm hitting that motherfucker first.
Wow.
I dislike this guy that much. But anyways, he didn't know what he was going to do with COVID. He's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't know if I'm going to shut it down. I'm like, dude, I'll buy it from you. I was going to buy a gym anyways. I'm like, I'll buy it from you. And we had a week to where the world opened back up again, right? To where you could do stuff. And so, I mean, the whole gym was orange. It looked like a prison. Like, I'm not joking you. The guy who owned it a couple years ago, like before that, made it look like a prison.
Painted it all orange.
It was all orange. I took a gym over Monday. I had a wall tore down. I held an office building, tore down, new mats put in, like by Thursday. Repainted all the walls. Everything looked brand new. Like people walked in like, what the fuck is this place?
Totally different. Like
completely different. I just re-owned the whole place.
Yeah, because you've been grinding. I mean, before your last UFC fight in the interview, you're talking about sleep, dude. Because like you seem like the guy that's go. You're waking up at 4 a.m. You're teaching classes, and then you go train twice a day. And you said, my sleep schedule's fucked up. I went to the PI and they told me the PI's got to be crazy. Those doctors telling you everything that's up with your body.
Your life.
They'd be like, Blake, you're 215. You need to chill out. Yeah. No, but you said they basically told you need to sleep. So how is the sleep going?
Man, it's great. So like when I went to the Institute, I thought being an entrepreneur, like owning your own gym and this, like I have a boot camp that's 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. and I've been doing that.
You got to be there.
I've been doing that for like five years, right? And I was like, being an entrepreneur, you got to wake up, you got to make money, you got to hustle, you got to grind. I didn't understand the aspect that being a professional athlete brought into that too.
Yeah.
And so like I just grinded myself pretty much into the ground. Like I'd wake up at 4 a.m. 5 days a week, and it was just too much. So when at the institute, they're like, hey man, you got to change something because your life is just fucked right now. And so I hired someone to run my class, which has worked out great. I think they've been there for a year now. They're fantastic. EJ Hawkins, if you're ever watching this,
shout out.
Yeah, shout out. So I got more sleep, and like today I woke up like 8 o'clock, I think. And I know if I need more sleep, I'll sleep in. Sometimes I'll wake up at 7, sometimes I'll wake up at 6. It just depends. But getting that even 2 hours extra sleep, that's 14 hours a week, just paid dividends.
Huge.
Yeah. My stress level went down. My energy went up.
Arrested Jason Witt.
My wife likes me a lot more. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, a well-rested man's a happy wife, happy life. Did the lack of sleep, because I'm somebody also who doesn't sleep much. Ever since I was probably in high school, I would stay up until 2, 3 a.m.
Why?
Night owl? I'm a night owl. I always have been. I've loved being up at night. My mind kind of just rambles at night, so it's harder to go to sleep.
Until you found ASMR.
Until I found ASMR. But
ASMR.
I don't know if you want to go down the rabbit hole.
We're going down. No, I'm just kidding.
It's an auditory thing. It's like listening to soothing sounds, but it's like, made by people. Different, experimenting with different sounds.
Try it
out
a joke,
sometime. But
I'll get right on that.
Did that play any part? You said you wore yourself down. You said you got run down. Did that the lack of sleep also mess with your mental at all? Did you have any issues there, or was it strictly my body is physically tired?
It was both. I mean, at some point you pretty much just break down like your mental. Like I didn't want to be in the gym, and I'm not that type of person. Like I always want to train. I always want to be in the gym, and like I was just like, dude, I'm over this shit. Like I wasn't getting better. I wasn't recovering. It was just my body just hurt. My mind, I was just like, dude, I'm done with this shit. I didn't want to do it. And then I got sleep, and it's like you can kind of slowly see a transformation. Like you see what happens with the Matt Simmelsberger fight when I walk in and get starched in 16 seconds. A lot of that was dehydration from the weight cut because I was cutting a lot of weight and it just wasn't working well. And then you see the Barbarena fight, who Barbarena hits like a fucking Mack truck. Yeah, and I took quite a few of his shots.
That was an amazing fight,
perfectly fine. Thank you. I have a lot of PTSD from that.
Really?
No, it's just I gave Krause PTSD because that dude lost his mind doing that.
I heard him. I went back and rewatched that fight tonight before we did the interview, nice. and I heard Krause in the corner just kind of losing his mind on you. I mean, he was yelling
lost
more
his voice.
Yeah, he was going in on you. But that fight, you were throwing bombs. Barbarena was throwing bombs, and I heard you talk about in an interview at that point before you got to the Barbarena fight, right before you were getting into it. You talked about and thought about potentially retiring if you didn't win.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. That was it was a do or die fight for me. It really was. Like, think about that. If I go in the UFC and I lose that fight, I'm 3-1 or I'm 1-3 in the UFC, right? They're going to cut me. That's my last fight. I don't want to go back to a local show. Like I told my wife, I didn't make it to the UFC, I'll retire at 35, right? Obviously I'm in the UFC, so it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I would get cut from the UFC, I don't want to go back to a local show. That was my last fight. Like that's just the way it was. Which is weird though, because it didn't play into my head at all. Like I didn't think about it at all. I was like, I'm just gonna go out there and fight and do what I can. Like I wasn't stressed about it. It was just that's what it was. But that's one of the turning points in my entire life. Like I won the fight, beat Bryan Barbarena, who's fought a lot of people. Yeah, he's fought type 5 people.
He's fought Vicente Luque. He's fought Colby Covington. He's fought Leon Edwards,
and he's known for knocking people out.
For sure. And he's known for not going away, which that fucker didn't go away.
No.
I knocked you down 4 times.
The guy will not
took you to the ground. And I'm like, the dude just kept coming.
Yeah.
And I think, Barbarena is such a respectable guy in the UFC. Yeah. A lot of fans love Bryan Barbarena, so that just gets so much credit. And you took him down 8 times in that fight. And, gave him some shots. You hit him with like some spinning, the spinning fist. And then
so the spinning back fist is really fight, like if you go to our gym and like you sneak up on somebody, they're just like, bitch, like get the fuck away from me, right?
So it's almost practiced more than
it was. Like I was in the situation, I was like,
get off me.
You're behind me, I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna throw something, and it worked out pretty well. I didn't hit him very hard, but like, yeah, that fight was just nuts.
Well, there was a couple times
where
you guys both threw at the same time and both landed at the same time.
Yeah.
When you get into a situation like that where you know that you landed, but you also get hit, is it obviously it's better that you landed your shot as well, but does it shock you enough, or is it more, hey, I'm gonna play off this momentum and I'm gonna recoil right back because you know that I also know that I landed, so something's going on here?
Man, at that point, you don't care. Like
really?
you're not registering what's going on. You're just like, I'm in this fight and I'm going to try to keep hitting you. Mm-hmm. Like whether you hit me or not. Like it doesn't matter. Like there's a point where I was on the ground on all fours and the guys hit me in the head and I'm just like, dude, I'm just going to try to bob and weave and like
try
to get out.
Yeah. Move, yeah. And he took him down too. Still took him down.
But yeah, man, at that point you just don't really, you don't have the time to analyze it. You know what I mean? Like if I hit you, you hit me. We don't have the time to like sit there and think about it.
Oh, nice shot. You're like, oh no.
I still do get a lot of shit for picking up my mouthpiece. Like full disclosure, I'm missing teeth. Like I got my teeth knocked out when I was like, I was an amateur or whatever.
They look like they're there.
Yeah.
Do we have some veneers, fakes? Oh,
got a little flipper.
Nobody time for the camera real quick.
Nobody sees that shit coming either. It's funny. I do it for kids. I'm like, look, it's a magic trick. They're like,
and just pop it out. Real
yeah.
Mike is over there in the production room laughing. There you
go. Jason Hyde gives me so much shit for it. He's like, dude, if you ever get in that situation again, do not go pick up your mouthpiece.
Yeah.
I'm like, first off, I've spent like $3,000 on my teeth. Y'all can go fuck yourself. If I lose my teeth, I'm spending more money in my bonus on my teeth than I am anything else. So like,
seriously.
I thought looking back at it, there was obviously not a lack in action, but I thought he hit me, my mouthpiece fell out, and we stopped for a second. I'm like, hey, referee, that's your time to go in. I'm like, no, I go to pick up the mouthpiece, and he starts hitting me. I'm like, I'm still putting my mouthpiece in. Fuck you. I'm not losing my teeth. I don't care. Like, I'm not losing the fight, but like, I'm not losing my teeth either. So,
well, at least you didn't Michael Bisping it, where you like call time, which is not a thing when you think you get poked in the eye, and then he ended up getting knocked out by
Kevin Gastelum fight.
I think it was Anderson.
It was Anderson.
Was it Anderson?
Yeah.
Well, he hit him with a flying knee after.
That was right at the bell, wasn't it?
Yep.
It was right towards the end.
Yeah.
And then he won that fight.
And then
Michael Bisping. That guy's hella cool too.
Oh yeah. Have you hung out with Michael a little bit, or got to interact with him?
The first time I had a fight against Sato, he kind of walked up to me when I was just signing some paperwork, and he's like, "Hey man, good to meet you. Heard you doing some crazy shit." And he's like, what's your attributes? I'm like, I throw a heavy right hand and a mean double leg. It's like, all right.
I like that. Yeah. The UFC debut on 48 hours notice. Like,
yeah, that was fucking crazy too.
Fucking whirlwind. I bet that was just nuts experience. But going back to like Cole Williams and your UFC experience, you got in the UFC last year. And this is going to be your 5th fight in the UFC. Yeah. Was that a goal of yours to, once you get to the UFC, you're like, I'm going to be as active as possible once I'm in the show?
Man, I didn't really make any, I usually take a fight by fight. You know what I mean? I don't really like push too far forward because I know what I have in front of me. But yeah, I don't know. I've always been an active fighter. Like I feel like there was a time I fought 4 times in like 6 months, like back to back to back.
Damn.
Like I fought, Josh, I can't think of his name now.
We'll find it. I know you fought Zach Busia.
Thank you.
There you go.
I hate that dude too, but I can't remember his name. Fought Josh Tolley, and 3 weeks later,
Hugh Pulley or Josh Tolley?
Josh Tolley.
Oh, I was like, that's similar names.
Josh Tolley, and like 3 weeks or like a week later, Wooster texts me. He's like, "Hey man, can you make 162 pounds?" And I just made 170. And it was my wife's birthday, right? Oh. We were having cake and ice cream, and I went and checked my weight. I was like 195.
Oh my god!
Now that's sodium loaded 195, right? Like I just fought, so it's like I was just eating like shit, and I was like 162, sure,
man. Fought
a dude on 3 weeks' notice in Canada, beat like a number 1 prospect in Canada in like a minute, knocked him out. It was me and James Krause first trip together, but like I've been very active my entire career. Like I used to take fights on short notice just so I knew I had to get in the UFC, and that's what I was going to do. So fighting 48 hours notice wasn't a huge deal, but it's like. That shit's still crazy.
Is that something? Got a fantastic record too.
Is that something that you picked up or have talked to James Krause about? Because he's also a short notice fighter. I feel like he's one of those guys. He's like, I'm ready all the time.
Yeah,
I'm ready all the time. Is that something you kind of got from him, or was that just something you guys both have in common?
I think that's something the whole gym has in common. It's just a culture of who we are. Mm-hmm. Like we're always working. We're always in the gym. Like you look at Kevin Kroom, he's taking 2 fights on 48 hours notice or less.
Yes, and both times. I mean, now granted, it didn't work out in Kroom's favor, but
I mean, to do that,
the first time,
performance. Yeah,
the first time it worked out.
The first time the dude made $50,000, and
the first time it really worked out.
Yeah.
He's got a black belt today too.
Really,
Kevin Kroom did.
Shout out Kevin Kroom,
Shout out
man.
to Kevin
Kroom, Paul Kalinda, and Grant Dawson all got black belts today.
Good for them, man.
Shit's crazy.
Funny story. Like awesome. when we go to Glory and you guys start rolling, like Paul will like not be striking with you guys, but at the second you guys start grappling, you'll just see Paul like basically come out of the shadows, and he's like,
he sneaks from the back of the kitchen, like, I'm here.
Yeah, you're like, he wants to go.
Yeah.
Like, so congrats to him on getting a fucking black belt. And
he's good too, man. Like his technique, like we are two different people. Like I will smash you and hold on to you for dear life. He's like, I'm going inverted. I'm going 6 different directions. I'm like, where the fuck did that guy go? So
like Paul's amazing. And then Grant got his black belt today too.
Grant got his
Dawson.
black belt today too. Yeah. And
I thought it was just Kevin for some reason, but I was wrong. That's amazing.
It was all 3 of them.
What's your jiu-jitsu? What's your belt?
I got a brown belt under Jason Bircher at KCBJJ.
I know Jason Bircher, yeah.
I started training with them, and that's just kind of who I went with.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been in a gi in like a year, so I really need to. I think after this fight, I'm going to put some little time in and try to work towards my black belt. That's kind of a goal I have for this year.
Mm-hmm. You think you're close, or is that like? Can you talk about it if you're like not in the jiu-jitsu
for sure?
circle?
I've talked to people. I mean, I know I'm a good jiu-jitsu practitioner. Like,
good teammate.
I know I'm good. Yeah. I talked to Krause. I'm like, hey man, do I roll at a black belt level? He's like, oh, absolutely, like 100% sure. I just haven't. And for Bircher, who I respect, utmost respect, it's about mat time. It's about being in the gym, putting the mat time in the gi, and I just haven't done that. And I know that's where I need to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I've always been curious about this because there seems to be there was never really a avenue for wrestlers or people with wrestling backgrounds before mixed martial arts came along. There was no like, you go be a professional wrestler unless you would like actually go to the Olympics or the WWE, and that was about it.
Yeah.
And one's vastly different than the other. Now, mixed martial arts, we're seeing so many collegiate wrestlers or just anybody who's got wrestling background be able to transition, and it seems to hold up pretty well. What would you say is going into BJJ? Does the wrestling aspect, being understanding body control, understanding the ground game, does that help you or hinder you because they're kind of the inverse of each other? Or is it all about leverage?
I think being in wrestling is the greatest thing you can transition into the MMA, because you control if it goes to the ground or not. You control being taken down. You have such good hips and such good pressure. And being in a wrestling room, like jiu-jitsu, is some kind of lazy, kind of lackadaisical. Being in a wrestling room, you've been pushed no matter what. Like if you're a high level wrestling, you've been in a wrestling room where people are just like trying to murder your entire life, right? You're being pushed every day, like the hardest wrestling practice you could possibly do. You don't get that a lot in jiu-jitsu. So I think going into wrestling, you have a better mindset, a greater discipline, and just understanding of how your hips move, which is huge in jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? Someone's going to sweep you and your hips are on the other side. You know what positions to be put in. Yeah. So I think wrestling is just, it's the greatest sport to be in if you're transitioning into MMA.
And you're used to cutting weight already. Like you already have that.
You're used to weight, crazy weight cuts. And I would say you look at how many champions were wrestlers as well, or have a wrestling background and pedigree.
Yeah, almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
Now you'll see guys that are going to college for wrestling it because they know they're going to fight after, so they're just using that as like a foundation.
And we had Niall Bartling in the studio.
Get your education before your brains knocked in.
Yeah, we had Niall Bartling in the studio, and he obviously has a great wrestling background. We had Isaac Dolgarian in the studio. He has a great wrestling background. Two great fighters. For sure. You as well have your wrestling background. So what what
wresling background?
Well, I just mean you obviously know how to wrestle. Like,
what is your background?
Looking at like how you fight, because I couldn't find, I did a little research. I couldn't find anything on your wrestling, so I was curious how you got good at wrestling.
That's a great question. People are like, oh, what'd you do before fighting? I was like, I was a skateboarder.
I was gonna say, I know you didn't go to college for wrestling. So how did you?
Good hips. Good hips.
You kicked like somebody in the face.
Yeah, for sure. I kickflip. Love that shit. I still watch skateboarding videos to this day. Like I will go home and watch skateboarding videos on YouTube. I love skateboarding.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
For sure.
Which one?
The Sound.
The first one, the original. It's the greatest game ever. So I skateboarded. I really didn't have a transition into MMA. Like there was just one day, like I was lifting weights and my neighbors across the street were doing strength conditioning. And I remember this like as clear as day. I was driving a 95 Mitsubishi Eclipse, like Fast and Furious time. But
what color?
But a piece of shit. It was red. It was a piece of shit.
I like those cars.
Door didn't open. Didn't have a shirt on. Had camo fucking cargo shorts on. Dukes of Hazzard out of my car. Dukes of Hazzard out of my car. Dude's like, hey man, are you a fighter? I'm like, I'm trying to be. He's like, come over and do a strength conditioning. I'm like, all right. Did a strength conditioning session with him. I was stronger than all of them. He's like, hey, go to this gym. That's how I got hooked up with Bill Brown. Like that's where I went.
Hopefully.
And then started training. All this happened like a month of each other, right? And then like about a week later, my uncle, who I worked for at the ice company, was my manager at the ice company. He's like, he used to be a professional kickboxer and boxer. So like, he used to train, but he never took it seriously, right? Like he's fought for like titles, but he just like was eating donuts the day before. He never cut weight. He just didn't really take it seriously, right? Started training with him, and I learned kind of the basics, like a low kick, like jab, cross, like just really Muay Thai basic stance. and then took a fight. Like I want to say like maybe 2 months into training, maybe.
And that's unheard of. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I just want to fight. And I had an ex-girlfriend. I told her I wanted to fight when I was like 18 years old. She's like, you're crazy. Why do you want to fight? I'm like, I'm not a mean person. I'm not a violent person. Like, I don't want to hurt anybody. I just like competition. I want to compete with somebody. And this is the ultimate form. So I started training with my uncle, started training with Bill Brown. And then I lost my first fight by triangle. And being like a 21 or 22-year-old, like I was a cocky asshole. Like I thought nobody's going to beat me. I got triangled. And I was like, I remember driving. It was in St. Joe. And I remember driving home in the backseat of my parents' car. Mom drunk as shit because that's what she did when I fought at the time. She didn't know what else to do. She just drank as much as possible. I just remember, like, I don't know how this happened. Like, what do I do? And then from there, I just kept training. So fast forward a couple of years, I'm still training at Bill Brown's. And I was in Kearney, Missouri. So one of the high school wrestling coaches comes in the gym and I do one round with him. The dude, like, fireman carries me at least 6 times in a 5-minute round. I'm like, what is this? What is this magic you're working? So anyways, I talked to him and he's like, hey, come to our wrestling practice. It was up the street. He said, come to our wrestling practice and learn wrestling. Like I was always very athletic. Like I'm a very athletic person. I'm very explosive and a double A kind of came naturally to me.
Did you play sports in high school?
I didn't. I was really good at football. I was really good at baseball. Like I was really good at all that stuff, but I always thought I was too small to play football in high school. Like I said, I was like 130 pounds.
$130.
Yeah. Didn't lift weights. And that's something my mom told me I regret that one day. And I really do regret it. Like I wish I would have played football and stuff, but I didn't. I just skateboarded and kind of smoked weed and just hung out with some people. But started wrestling in the wrestling room and just got my ass whooped all the time. And then I just fell in love with wrestling and just kept going and kept going and kept going. And that's how I got my wrestling.
And then the triangle was like, I got to learn jiu-jitsu too.
Yeah. Well, this was years later. After the triangle.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, I got to learn wrestling first, and then we'll get to the jiu-jitsu.
If I double him, he can't triangle me.
There you
That's
go.
how that works. Just hold on to him, he can't triangle me. No.
That's awesome. What are you more proud of as far as the UFC performances? Are you more proud of the Cole Williams performance where you gave him an arm triangle, or are you more proud of the Bryan Barbarena performance? Like what do you take home victory-wise from the UFC?
That's a good question. The Bryan Barbarena fight, for sure. Just everything that was stacked against me. And also, I didn't know I had that in me. Like, I thought round 3 was going to be the whole entire fight. Like, I didn't think I was going to be able to take him down very easily. I took him down right away. I didn't think it was going to, I thought round 1, 2, and 3 were all going to be like round 3. That's what I prepared for. That's what I thought was going to happen. So to know that I had that round 3 in me, to be able to come back and still he knocks me down, I knock him down, and back and forth and just being physically exhausted.
Yes.
That speaks volumes to who I am and who I am as a fighter. You know what I mean? Like I know in the back of my head now, like I have that in me. I didn't know I had that in me. I never been pushed to that limit. Like that was I was sitting in the back room and I was like, Julian, like I almost went to the hospital because I was just so like physically exhausted. But I thought I was from a concussion. Like I was nauseous. I almost threw up a couple times, which is the worst thing you can do if you have a concussion, right?
In the fight or after the fight?
After the fight. Okay. I was sitting in the back. Like they made me sit in the medicals for about 45 minutes. But I almost threw up a couple times. I was like, dude, this is not good. Like Krause makes fun of me. High makes fun of me. So I was like, hey, man, I probably have a concussion, but don't tell them because I don't want to go to the hospital. That's the last thing I'm going to do is go spend 3 hours in a hospital after I just won the fight, right? Julian Marquez goes back and gets a Coke. I'm like, hey, man, give me a Coke. I drink a Coke full of sugar. 10 minutes later, I'm ready to party. The whole world. Wow. I just needed some sugar, get my glycogen storage back up again. Like it wasn't a concussion. I probably had a concussion too, but I was just so physically exhausted. Yeah, we don't have to worry about that one. But after I drank that Coke, I was like, dude, I'm good to go. Let's go do interviews. Let's go eat. Let's go party. Let's do whatever we got to do.
Now,
did you get the 50K that night?
I did get the 50K.
Fight of the night?
Yes.
Fuck yeah,
it
baby.
better have been.
So it's a glory.
So right. I beat Bryan Barbarena. I was on the brink of retirement, right? I beat Bryan Barbarena. I get a 4-fight contract, and I got a 50K bonus. Like that's the pinnacle of my career right there.
Well, and that's exactly what you were looking for coming into that fight. Like you said, when I heard you speak that you were possibly on the verge of retirement, and then you explained it.
Crazy.
Possibly, depending on the outcome. Mm-hmm. To me, I was like, your logic for kind of coming to that and coming to the realization of that made perfect sense when you explained it.
Yeah.
But I know you've listened to a lot of people talk. You're not really one to really listen to them, but I know you've heard them before. I know you had spoken about how, man, people say I didn't have a chin.
Yeah.
But you go into that Bryan Barbarena fight and you took punch after punch after punch after punch after punch from somebody who knocked people out.
Argue with me now.
Like,
you can't say shit.
What do you say now?
Now that is attributed to, and I know 100% what it is weight cut. Like if I have like the Simmonsburger had a shitty weight cut. Like I cut like 15 pounds of water, didn't rehydrate all the way back up. Now I got touched in the chin. Your brain's not hydrated enough. Your body's not hydrated enough. It puts the lights out. Now I'm not taking that away from Simmonsburger. He caught me clean for 100%, but I also wasn't focused. I wasn't there because I wasn't hydrated enough. Now take away the stress levels, get a good weight cut, get the hydration back up. I can take all the punches
different fighter.
I'm not sure I want to say that. I can take all the punches in the world, but I'd rather have that than being knocked out in 16 seconds.
You can say it, just don't do it.
And
How about that?
The cool thing is, like, you came in and you have a fight in 2 weeks now, which is crazy.
10 days.
It's 10 days out.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it's an awesome matchup too. Like Phil Rowe he used to train with Mike Perry, one of my guys, but I had to get it in there.
I know you got to
fuck Mike Perry.
Mike Perry.
Fuck Mike Perry.
Hey, thank you. I don't like Mike Perry either. He's a Mike Perry guy.
I mean, you talk about your last opponent, Barbarena, has been fighting some of the best people in the world. This guy, he's been in grappling matches recently, a lot of them, and he was rolling with Gordon Ryan, which is crazy.
He got his ass whooped by Gordon Ryan.
Yeah, he got his ass whooped by Gordon Ryan, but he looked cool while doing it. Maybe. I mean, my opinion. But this guy's he's a pretty good fighter. He's long, he's lengthy, he's a decent striker. Obviously, he's been taking these jiu-jitsu fights. So what is your impression of Phil Rowe, and how excited are you for that opportunity? Doesn't have as much experience as you.
No, of course not.
Something like that, but good matchup.
Man, so we asked for this fight the night of the Barbarena fight. Like
really?
Yeah. So we were sitting in the hot tub and Phil Rowe was cutting weight because he fought the same night that I did. And he's
First
like, "Hey
fight,
man, so what are you doing how do you cut weight? What do you do?" I'm like,
don't be asking me this.
Why are you asking me how to cut weight? So I told him how to cut weight, and then he missed weight. And like I'm thinking in my head, like, first off, you don't ask another guy who's in your division how to cut weight. And second off,
and then you miss weight.
You miss weight. I know you quit there. You're gonna quit here. I'm gonna be on top of you. I'm gonna be hitting you in the face. You're gonna quit there too. You know what I mean? If you quit cutting weight, you're gonna quit there too.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter. He has a lot of problems, but we wanted this fight from that day on, only because he doesn't try to get off the cage. He doesn't really wrestle that well. He has decent jiu-jitsu. You asked me about like him going against Gordon Ryan and all those people. Like, that's fine. That's great. That you look good there. You think you're looking cool, but you're not going against me. None of those guys are hitting you in the face. None of those guys are pressuring you. None of those guys are body locking you the way I will. I'm trying to hit you in the face. I'm trying to hurt you. I'm trying to bring your anxiety all the way up. Gordon Ryan's lying on his back going for heel hooks. He's going for this. He's a fantastic jiu-jitsu. He's probably the best there ever was. But that's a different game. You can do all the jiu-jitsu matches you want and think it's going to translate to the cage. It's not.
Well, it takes a major threat out of the whole fact that I can use my hands to bludgeon your entire body.
Yeah. I'm trying to hold you down, and I'm trying to put you in the most uncomfortable position to hit you in the face.
Yeah.
Gordon Ryan's not trying to do that.
Yeah, he's coming off a finish against Orion Kosi, who was making his UFC debut that night. And, I mean, things go perfect for you. You'd be 3-2 in the UFC with another, victory. How do you see this fight going with Phil Rowe?
Yeah, like you said, he does create a lot of problems. He is long
guy.
He is tall.
Good striking.
He has good striking. But most people don't understand like my athleticism of being able to, like, I call it teleporting, because I can close distance so quickly. Like you look at the Barbarena fight, I shot from the middle of the cage and still took him down. It takes time to understand that, right? And I throw really, really powerful strikes, and I'm getting a lot better at moving my head and doing a lot of different stuff. Honestly, I just feel like I'll put him against the cage, take him down, and just kind of ground and pound him. And I think it'll be a hard fight. Like, I really do. I think it'll be slick on the ground. I think I'm probably going to get hit quite a bit of times, just trying to come in and trying to work in to beat him. But honestly, if you guys watch me in the gym, I'm putting people against the wall. I'm tripping you. I'm holding you down. I'm literally just trying to make your life a miserable hell and create your anxiety to go up. And then from then on, I'm trying to beat you.
Well, Micah snapped a really good picture of you the other day. Shout out to you, cameraman Micah.
Yeah,
you basically were...
Get some more of those. I need more training photos. I don't have any.
You essentially were the backpack for Carl Robertson.
Yeah.
Baby K out here. And I forget what your caption was. You're just like, I don't know. I forget. He's like, I might not love you, but I know how to hug you, or something like that. Like, you were strapped onto the back of him like this, and it was just it was a funny picture that I was looking at. And so when you apply that much pressure to somebody, what does it do? What do you believe that it does mentally to your opponent?
It just breaks you. It really just it breaks your mindset. Like, I'm so heavy and just so much pressure put on you. You don't want to get back up shit and get taken back down. Like that's pretty much my game is up down, right? Like I'm trying to, I can beat you up down. Like I take you down, you get back up. Cool. That took a lot of energy from you.
Yes.
Take you back down, you get back up. It's very discouraging. Like the third time, you're like, fuck, I don't want to get back up again.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to keep hitting you. It's very discouraging. The quote you talked about.
Yeah.
I talked to Julian Marquez, who's a fantastic social media guy. He promotes himself very, very well. He's on a mic. He's good. He's on a social media game.
Of course.
He's like, hey man, just find a movie you like that's just funny and use movie quotes. So if you look at my Instagram, the last 8 posts that I don't post very often, but the last 8 posts are all Deadpool quotes.
Oh,
they're all from Deadpool. Even the one of me, my wife, and my dog that says, you don't have to be a superhero to get the girl brings the superhero out in you. It's Deadpool.
That's like
it's easy to find. They're funny, and I love the movie.
So that's funny that's
there's
what he
Deadpool
said.
too.
That's funny. That's what he said because there was this trend a while back where it was like pretty much just take any Drake line and that's your quote.
That works too.
That's like I saw people doing that. So you've been using nothing but Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds, but Ryan Reynolds is a lot more funnier than Deadpool, or a lot funnier than Drake. So.
He is Deadpool.
Yeah,
I know he is Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds, he's funny. I love that dude. He's
hilarious. So, well, I mean, that being said, in a lot of your media, I know you'd kind of talked about doing media stuff. Hopefully, this is one of the best ones you've ever done. Obviously,
best one so far.
There we go, baby. Let's go. Rooted in MMA, but
I've actually never been in a studio either. It's like they've never
really?
sat down to
It's better. It's nicer.
Cool. It's a lot more relaxing. I feel like, and then is it more nerve wracking for you?
No, it's good. I just feel like when you're on the phone, you're in a FaceTime, it's like people want to ask you some questions, and I get good interviews on that too. But it's like this is just more like I have a purpose to come here. We have a purpose to talk. Like you guys are talking to me. It's like it just feels more like authentic in a sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and that's what we
love. Yeah,
that's what we try to create. And I know me and Josh have kind of harped on that a lot. Is when anytime we bring a fighter in here, it's not like, hey, how do you feel about that? And just like it's not that kind of cookie cutter interview style.
How do you feel about the fight? Cool. How do you feel like the fight's gonna go?
Yeah, like
how do you feel like this? Yeah,
7 answers that you've got rehearsed, and you're gonna be asked that 10 times, and you know what you're gonna be able to say.
Yeah.
I want to explore, like we talked about your wrestling background, or we talked about your teeth, like things that people don't ask you, or that we would never get into in a 5-second interview that you normally do.
Of course.
And that's why we appreciate you coming in and gracing us with your presence and gracing us with great stories. And
Grayson, I'm appreciated to be here, man.
Hey, man, we appreciate it. I know Josh has got a list of questions over here for you. So.
Yes, sir. Always. Got the list. I'm the list guy.
He's the list guy. I'm the kind of off the cuff guy.
Organized.
So you're an experienced guy in the UFC now. This will be your 5th fight in the UFC. A hot topic.
Nice way of saying I'm old.
No, you're young. You're young in the game. You're a fresh guy. But that means you have opinions on things that happen in the UFC, and you obviously probably see the hot topics and stuff about what's going on. So what do you think as a guy who's been in the UFC for like a year, but it's been a fucking ride and it's been awesome. But what do you think about fighter pay, and what's your opinion on it? And I'll preface it by saying, people have the opinion of, well, you got to fight and then you'll get paid. And I like that. I agree with that. You got to fucking fight in the UFC, and that's how you get paid. But I also will see like the numbers and, that the UFC's making, and then I'll see the numbers that the fighters are making, 12K, 10K, 20K win and stuff. But so I do think it is a little bit of a problem. But what do you think about it? You're in there. You're in the UFC.
So I look at it from a business standpoint. You look at what Dana White has done. He's built the UFC up to what it is now. It's a worldwide phenomenon. It was going under. You know what I mean? And I think you get paid for the responsibilities you take over. That makes sense? Like you get paid for what responsibilities you have. And I think Dana White should get paid a lot of money because he's created this whole worldwide phenomenon.
Yep.
Now, I've gotten paid more money from fighting than I've ever gotten paid in my entire life, right? Like I made $85,000 in one night from one fight, which is phenomenal. I'm happy about that. But you also understand this is it's not a lifetime thing. You have to have other forms of income. You have to have other streams that you're making money off of, right? Like I have a gym, I'm buying rental properties, I have investments outside of that, all those things. You have to be smart about those things. Also, if Francis Ngannou can't live off of $600,000 a year, he's doing something wrong. Like get a better financial guy. So do I wish we got paid more money? Of course I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Am I upset about the money I'm making? Absolutely not. Like I'm happy to be fighting. Fighting isn't like I also have a wife who makes a lot of money too, so that helps me out a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
but I also don't have to have fighting as a stream of income. You know what I mean? I don't have to.
It's not your sole income. You got to do it.
I don't have to fight.
You don't have to fight.
But at the same time, like, you have to understand that this is a business, and you shouldn't have, like, if you have one stream of income and that's gone, you're already fucked. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that this is a business. Fighting should be, like, if that's your passion, that's cool, but add other streams of income, right? I'm taking that money and buying assets with that. That's what you should do instead of buying a Lamborghini or something like that, man. You know what I mean? Like, that shit just doesn't add up. So I think the fighter's pay should be a little bit more, but also it's only one fight. I only have 15 minutes of whatever. You know what I mean? Dana White's put in all this work to do all this stuff, so it's really his call.
Yeah. Okay.
I think.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. No, I think kind of the way that I kind of straddle the fence on this, because
for sure,
I completely, being a former college athlete, I understand. You trained, countless hours, 10,000, 20,000 hours your whole life to get where you're at. You want to be compensated for it,
of course.
But I think the thing that the UFC has done very well is that they help create a marketing campaign for you that you would have never gotten if it wasn't for the UFC. Yeah. So it does open avenues. They give you the platform to then brand yourself. And for you to then, like you said, do other things outside of fighting. Yeah. Creating a brand of some sort, creating a gym. Like you said, you run your own gym, creating merchandise. So it's kind of weird for me. I'm like, man, I can see it both ways.
Of course. I feel the same way.
Yeah. So I just think that it's one of those things that I don't know. Like, at the end, obviously, everybody wants to get their bread, and I think everybody should get their bread. Go ahead and collect your chickens and do you. But you also have to be responsible with the money you make, just like you pointed out.
Yeah.
And I think, like, we kind of see with this weird Francis Ngannou situation, who now is out 9 months.
Francis Ngannou. Because
of a knee injury.
Yeah.
And, I don't know how you feel about that whole situation. I mean, if you even want to get into that at all, but just kind of about how they've handled, how his management has handled it, how he's handled it. I know you kind of already dabbled into this, so if you don't want to talk about it, we don't have to. But
no, you're good.
What do you think now about him being out for 9 months and that putting a pause on the heavyweight championship? I mean, is that going to last, do you think?
And that's one of those things, like, there's two sides to every story. Like, you're looking at social media, like, what information am I actually getting that's correct?
What can you trust?
Yeah, what can you trust?
True. It's hard. You know what I mean? It's hard.
So I don't know which side's right. Like, here's the other thing. I look at Tyson Fury, who made $30 million in a fight.
You big dosa.
But you also understand that boxing's been around for how many more years than
200? Yeah, I mean, 100. It's been around since 1800s.
So, like, the revenue that comes with that is going to be more. You're going to get paid more. The UFC's been around since, 91?
Yeah.
It just got famous. Like, it just blew up in, let's say, 2010-ish.
It was his 30-year anniversary, wasn't it? 2021, it was 91, 2021.
I remember the 25 year.
25.
I remember the 25 year.
So, I mean, you're not going to have as much money to put behind that. Yes, they're making a lot of money now, but I don't know. It's
going to continue.
I just don't know what information is right and what's not. I don't know what he's doing outside of the gym. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's kind of like if you take that two different sports, baseball and football. Yeah. Both two major sports, I would say, but football is more popular nowadays.
For sure.
But baseball's been around since 1800s. So it makes way more money, way more lucrative money than guys who play football.
Yeah.
But it's an older sport. So, and I think maybe that's kind of the same comparison with, like, boxing and MMA.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the conversation is going to continue to go, and Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou are
Jake Paul's starting his own company now.
Is he? I know their big thing is insurance for the fighters.
Yeah.
Is there any form of insurance that the fighters get?
Marry a rich girl?
Okay. Have great in-laws?
The Jason Witt method.
No, man, I'm a very fortunate person. Like, I'm very blessed outside of that. So my wife, she has insurance, so that works too. But I understand there's people who don't have that and need that. So, I mean, but that's also if you're making, let's say your first fight is 14 to 14. Take some of that money and buy health insurance. Like, if that's what your concern is, do that with your money.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Don't go buy 14 pairs of shoes.
Yeah.
Don't be dumb.
Or like you said, a Ferrari, which you don't need.
Yeah. Be financially smart.
Might need it.
Whatever you are. If you're making $600,000, you can afford a Ferrari, that's cool. But if you complain about being broke, you're dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you make 10 and 10, or let's say you make $10,000, don't take that money and go buy a $10,000 car.
Yeah,
because now you have nothing.
There's information out there. You can learn a lot from the internet.
Watch YouTube, man.
Get a
freaking
so
easy. Just watch YouTube.
Go on the internet and get a freaking NFT and look at it, and then you're good. You're good.
$2.9 million
overnight.
That's all you need. Just go get a freaking NFT, and then you'll have it, and you'll look at it, and you'll absorb it.
A lot of
you'll become the NFT.
Yeah, it's smart. Gary Vaynerchuk made $90 million in a couple months, dude.
A smart cat.
Yeah, he's a genius. I'll give him that. But like a lot of stuff that I've learned is James Krause. Like that dude is financially smart. He has all of his eggs in a basket. You know what I mean? He's very smart financially. And so talking to people like that, talking to mentors, those things, doing your own like studying is a big part of not going broke.
Well, on the internet is and this is the reason why I kind of have this whole thing on college. I'm like, you don't even need to go to college anymore because unless you're trying to be a lawyer or a doctor or something, you can learn everything you want probably quicker and kind of fade out all the bullshit
way
online
cheaper.
And way cheaper.
Yeah.
So
people don't want to do that. They want the paper that says I'm this.
Yeah.
Which if that's fine. If that's you, that's great. That's cool. But like you don't need that. People are lazy and don't want to do the research themselves.
Yeah. Well, people
want somebody to tell them.
We want NFTs.
Tell me how to be successful. I don't want to learn how to be successful. I know he's all into the. I'm sure he's a crypto. You own what do you have? 4 NFTs?
7.
17 NFTs?
It went up 3 during this interview. Yep.
Ah, gotcha. You were over there just buying them all.
Yeah. They're getting some NFTs.
So does Krause
making money?
Does Krause give you guys? I mean, is that something you gotta have to approach him on, or does he kind of make a stressful point to say, hey, also by the way, guys, you guys need to be financially smart in this game? Does he make that a point, or is that something you got to have a one-on-one conversation with him about?
Both. He really does. Our goal, pretty much at Glory, is financial freedom. Mm-hmm. Doing what we love to do and making money doing that. You know what I mean? That's financial freedom is what you really want to do. Mm-hmm. But like let's say when I went to Denver with Trey when he fought for the Cage Fury Championship or whatever, I literally woke up like 6 a.m. like, James, like I want to talk to you about real estate. I want to understand. I want to ask questions. So like I reached out to him. We went and got coffee, and I just kind of like picked his brain of, hey, what are you doing this? Why are you doing this? How do I do this? He's like, all things you're asking are great questions. He's really smart. You just got to call this guy, get this taken care of. And, you know, I bought my first real estate. I found my first rental property Monday.
Let's go.
Nice.
So, I mean, you have to reach out to him, but like, he's also very like, hey, don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Don't waste your money. You have to pay bills, but be in training and still find a way to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's gotta be awesome to have a guy like that.
Well, I think it's hard. Also, I think people have a lack of trust nowadays, so that you're not, or they're too trustful. I don't know which one it is, and they start listening to the wrong people, or people that want to take advantage of you. You know, have you had any issues where you've had people kind of see your rise and maybe want to hop on the train for the wrong reasons?
No, I haven't.
That's good.
I keep my circle pretty small. I'm a very introverted person. Like I have no problem.
I couldn't tell from this interview, honestly.
So I'm also a personal trainer. So like I'm good at talking to people.
Yeah.
But when I get done with this and I go home, my wife's not home. She's in Montana right now. But like when I get home, I'm like, I don't want to talk to a fucking person.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my dog. That's about it.
Of course.
Like I don't want to talk to a person. I don't want to talk to him. I just need like time to recharge. So like I'm an introverted person. So like I don't need that.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
But
just me and my NFTs, baby.
Apparently.
You and Koba.
Apparently.
What kind of dog you got?
Me and my cat.
I got a German Shepherd Lab mix. So last year? Yeah, about 8 months ago, my wife and I got a dog when we were like dating for like 4 months. Like I'm not joking you. I got her a dog when we were dating for like 4 months. Right?
Wow.
We stayed together.
That's good stuff.
It's a terrible idea. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Because you break up, who gets the dog?
Oh,
you break up, who gets the dog?
That's a good.
Jason Witt.
No, she does because I got the dog for her.
Okay.
I was gonna say it's a gift.
But anyways,
Mrs. Witt.
He passed away, and this is all the time where like I was resetting my sleep schedule. I was getting everything taken care of. So I'm like, I don't want to get a puppy and fuck up my whole sleep schedule again.
Wake up at 2 a.m. just to take him outside.
Yeah. And so my wife works for Subaru, and they do a lot of pet adoption stuff like that. And we were up there, and I'm like, dude, we're gonna end up getting a dog. Like this is just how it's gonna work. There's no end up seeing a dog. He's a German Shepherd Lab mix. We call him Thor.
Nice.
That's dope.
He's the most intelligent dog I've ever met in my entire life. The first time we got him, I talked to the lady. I was like, hey, so like, how's his demeanor? She's like, he's very chill, doesn't bark at people, doesn't do anything. I'm like, cool. Like, what's his sleep schedule like? She's like, oh, he slept last night from like 10 to 4. I'm like, cool. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. The first night, he slept from like 10 o'clock to 8 o'clock the next morning.
Not perfect.
Next night, slept the whole night. Next night, slept the whole night. Like, he just slept the whole night. He's super intelligent, but he's also like a 9-month-old puppy. So like he's so smart. Like he destroyed my entire backyard. Like I'm not joking you. I have a golf hole in my backyard. Tore that golf hole out of the ground. Chewed on the cup. Tore my hose off of my hose holder. Put the hose holder in the middle of the yard. Tore up some chairs up there. So smart. Figured out how to get out of his kennel. Like opened the door, got out of his kennel. I put bungee cords around it. He ate the bungee cords. Still got out of his kennel. Like, Jesus, you're just a fucking menace. I love you.
That speaks menace to German shepherds in general. So me and my girl, we have a German shepherd named Kaiser.
Okay.
And he's a fucking menace. But like you said, he sleeps really well, which is kind of crazy. Like he doesn't. I never have to get up in the middle of the night and deal with him. Yeah. He's good to go. But you mentioned something that I know me and Josh both wanted to talk about. Your golf game.
My golf game.
You walked in here
where not much of a golf game.
the attempt of you playing golf. Now, how long have you been playing golf? A year?
Not even.
Not even.
So we went to May of last year, technically last year. I went to Cabo for my wife's birthday. She has a twin brother, and he's like, "I want to play golf on my birthday." So we went out. My father-in-law, my brother-in-law, my other brother-in-law, we all go out and play golf. And I am atrocious. Like, I'm hitting balls on the highway. Like, I can't find balls. I'm just like, and I hate being bad at things. I'm tough. Super competitive, and I'm so frustrated. And so when I got back, I live in Overland Park. You can't hit a golf ball without hitting the golf course. You know what I mean? Like, I can stand on my front porch and hit a golf course.
It's wide. I like that.
There's golf courses everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's a par 3 course next to my house. And I started playing that, and I just like became obsessed with golf. And like, I started watching YouTube videos and understanding how to do this and that. And I bought my own clubs, and I just started playing. And like, the worst part about this is like, I've been fighting for 13, 14 years now. I don't remember what it's like to be bad at something. I don't remember what it's like to pick up a new skill and try to build from that. It is the most frustrating game I've ever played in my entire life.
Yes.
Like it's I hate it so much. It's just so hard.
It's addicting though. It's awesome.
It is. Like we were talking about like
exhilarating too.
You'll be on the 18th hole. I'm already at like 100, right? I'm already like 30 over par, no big deal. But you'll hit one drive straight down the fairway. You're like, I'm the best golfer there ever was.
I'm the best there is.
Like I'm back, baby. I'm back.
I do this.
Yeah. So I really fell in love with golf and just kind of understanding that. And just kind of added that helps with my stress too. Like just going out and playing golf.
Definitely.
It might add to my stress, but also helps my stress.
I was gonna say it probably adds to the stress in the sense of when you start playing bad. But I think that being outside, just kind of getting that alone time, or not even, you're not always all alone.
No, I play alone a lot.
Do you really?
I all my time.
You'll go lone wolf it?
Dude, I'll play 18 holes no problem by myself.
Really? Are you a walker?
No, I'm on a cart.
God, okay, I hate walkers.
I ain't got time for that shit.
That shit scared the birds.
No one's walking. Yeah.
Josh and I play.
No sane person is walking.
Yeah.
I can hit the ball really far and I can putt really well. He's a lot better mid-game than just consistency. But, and this is something I wanted to ask you. And it might sound silly, but picking up golf is something now that you're new at. Mm-hmm. Golf and MMA are two completely different sports.
But they're so similar.
Okay, this is what I was going to ask you.
Wow.
What have you found in golf? And has there been anything in golf, maybe on the mentality side or the consistency side, that you've been able to kind of translate over or hone in on your MMA game?
Yeah, it's a great question. And it really is true. Like the mentality of golf is focusing on a consistent swing over and over and over again. Right. And it might not be jiu-jitsu where you're grappling, where you're spinning around, where you're doing all this shit.
That's addicting too.
With somebody else. But you're consistently having to do the same swing over and over. Right. To hit the golf ball correctly, you have to mentally be focused on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And it really plays into the same thing. Like when you're jiu-jitsu, you have to mentally be focused on what you're doing. Yes, at a slower pace in golf, but man, to hit the ball correctly, to hit it the way you're supposed to, the way your hips are supposed to, timing, everything, it's really just, it's very similar, but not at the same time. If that makes any sense at all.
Well, and
it does.
I would say
Fuck yeah, it does.
4 hours, 4 or 5, depending on how long it takes you to play. 4 or 5 hours.
Where you're looking for your ball?
Yeah, no, that's me. So there's an ongoing joke. I pretty much tell Josh, bring an extra pack for me because I already brought 50 and I know I'm going to lose them.
Yeah,
so. I'll show you a drive of Blake's that's really bad after we wrap up. It's hilarious.
Oh, you got it on film?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
my drives are usually pretty good, but not with Josh. I got so
obsessed with golf. Like my wife got sick of me talking about it. She bought me a golf simulator for a house.
Of course.
And it's upstairs in my attic. And
that's awesome.
So like she got COVID a couple weeks ago and I was quarantined in there.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
simulator?
At least this time I got a golf simulator to play.
Right.
Like I'm talking. So my house is weird. Like you walk upstairs, it's upstairs, right? My basement's not tall enough to hit a golf ball or a golf club. I can't hit a driver upstairs either, but I can hit 4-iron. I can hit everything underneath that.
Okay.
So when you walk upstairs, you go through like what'll be our kids' room. There's a big ass closet. And then you walk in through a door and it's just this unfinished attic space. It's like peaks up at the roof. It's like 13 by 13. Man, I put it down. I got a net up there. I have a projector. I just haven't put the projector up yet. But I bought a 65-inch TV that hooks up to the simulator, so like I can see, like it's that size in my golf room. And like, so you have golf courses, you can practice hitting the fairway.
So it's not I guess, do you also have the net where you can actually hit the ball?
Yeah.
As well? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
so you
hit the ball
and your projector net.
Hit the ball into the net.
What is it, like an approach something? What is it?
That one's called OptiShot something.
It's not a Garmin product?
It's not, no.
Wow, Josh was about to hook you up.
But dude, my wife's like, I'm never going to see you again. I'm like, not a chance.
No.
Not a fucking chance.
I got a new grind.
Yeah.
New grind, new life.
No, but it's
new golf game.
It's so much fun though. And it's also something I can do for the rest of my life. Like jiu-jitsu, I'm not gonna do it for the rest of my life. I will, but like I'm not gonna do something that's, you know, like I am now. It's not gonna happen that way. But golf, like I can play with my father-in-law, I can play with my brother-in-law. I actually just left a little bit ago. We have my brother-in-laws and a couple other guys. We have an investment group now that we're like putting a bunch of money in so we can put it in stocks and just kind of invest stuff. It's also just another way to like, hey, we're gonna have an investment meeting, which is we're gonna go play golf. And
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I'm perfectly fine with. Like, I'm making money and I'm playing golf. Like, you can't be mad at me. Like, like, what are you gonna do? So like,
that's awesome.
Now I can go.
I'm
play
making
golf
money
with them.
and spending money.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so I'm obsessed with golf and I love the game, man.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Well, Blake, this guy's giving us a fantastic interview. He's training for a friggin' fight in 2 weeks.
I got time.
I'm pumped.
You got any final questions for the Mr. Witt?
Yeah, just, you know, I know we've talked about you were kind of potentially could have been on the brink of retirement. You earned your new contract and an amazing fight of the night.
Living the dream, man.
It helped you not only financially, but with your future. What is Jason Witt's future in the UFC? And what is what's your outlook on where you're going to end up? And what do you want to accomplish? And how do you want to leave a memory on the game?
Yeah, that's a great question. Nobody's ever actually asked me that question in that form. I've never been that guy. Like, I've never been like, I want to be UFC champion. That's my goal. Like, that's never happened. Like, I got into fighting because I love doing it. And it really just turned into me being in the UFC. Like, that was my goal to get in the UFC. And it really turned into that. And I like fighting. I'd like to be in the top 15. I think, I'll look past Phil Rowe. So I'm going to fight Phil Rowe. Of course. But after that, somebody a little bit higher up and then higher up. And I think by the end of the year or 2023, I'd like to fight somebody in the top 15, just be ranked. I think that's probably my future of what I want to do. And I'm okay with not going much further than that. I just want to make some money, get some investments and have fun doing it.
Make a good living and get out with the best of health you got, and however far it takes you. Yeah.
Yeah. Be able to write my name when I'm 40, 5 years from now.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be it's a crazy, amazing game, and you're living your dream. Would you say that? You say you made it?
Yeah, man. I got a phenomenal wife. I got a phenomenal life. I got a great wife. I got a dog at home. I got a nice house. I get to personal train people, which isn't really a job. I just get to yell at people, and make them do stuff.
You'd mentioned future kids room. Are you guys planning on having kids? Not having kids?
Yeah,
okay.
We're trying to have kids right now.
Is it going to be? Oh, right now?
Nice. Yeah, we've been trying for about a year. We've been trying for about a year now.
Well, hey man, good luck. Congratulations. That'll be awesome.
Yeah, congrats with that.
Actually,
I bet.
All my brother-in-law, he has a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and they just had a set of twins. So he has 4 kids. I'm like, that dude is fucked.
Got his hands full there.
Yeah, and then my other
no
brother-in-law,
golf for you, buddy.
Other brother-in-law has like a 2-year-old or 1-year-old. Yeah, and so all our friends are having kids. I'm like, I'm that time of my life where like everybody was getting married. You know what I mean? You get out of high school, get a job, everybody gets married, and now everybody's having kids. And I'm in that point in my life where we're having kids, and I'm stoked about it. I'd like to have a little vanilla gorilla running around, or a girl that looks like my wife because my wife's beautiful. If I have a little girl running around, I think it'd be cool, man. I'm excited about it.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, this has been.
It's been awesome, man.
Fantastic interview. I appreciate you hanging out. It wasn't even an interview. This was just a nice hangout session.
Conversation.
Getting to know you, man. And sounds like you have a beautiful life right now, and I hope nothing but the best of you. And good luck with your wife. Shout out to your wife, and hope you guys are successful.
What's her name?
That.
McCall.
Shout out McCall.
Shout out
Witt.
to you, McCall.
Mrs. Witt.
She's in Montana right now for a work trip.
Gotcha.
Something like a ski slope.
Yeah, that awesome.
Sounds like a great work trip.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
That's awesome.
But no, me and Josh really appreciate it. Josh, any closing words?
I would just like to say, I personally, I hope you annihilate the fuck out of Phil Rowe.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you always. Big fan of you, and I'm super excited for this fight coming up in next week. And I'm very appreciative that you came in and was able to give us the time to talk to you because that was awesome. Shout out Micah, producer as always.
Thank you, Micah.
Killing it. Awesome guy. Has the same shoes as Jason Witt. And anything you want to plug or anything?
Yeah, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to shout out? Any people follow you or anything?
No, man, just find me on Instagram, _Vanilla Gorilla, man. I enjoy these now. Like I enjoy being able to talk to people and like this is what I do for this is my life. Like this is what I get to talk to people about fighting and golf and kids and all that stuff. So it's just like you said, I'm living the dream. I really am. Like I hate the cliche to say that, but I really enjoy it.
No, you made it. Yeah,
really appreciate it.
When you're doing it, you're doing it, man. And like I said, we can't be more appreciative and happy that you decided to sit down and hang out with us.
For sure.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning into episode 4 of Octagon Chronicles. It's been the Vanilla Gorilla. It's been Josh Beasy. It's been Blake Schneiders. And it's been Micah Young. Peace. We'll see you next week.
Let's go.